Good morning. Happy Monday to everybody. This is Mornings with Michael for informational and educational purposes only. Um, Speaking of a good book, this is one of the favorite books of mine, How to How to Make Money in Stocks by William O'Neill, founder of Investors Business Daily. And I'll show you another book later in the week. I'll actually have a PDF of it. I lent it to somebody and never got it back. So there you have it. Be careful who you lend your books out if it's in hardcover, because you may not get it back if it's a good book. But let's get to the news. So Federal Reserve Governor Michelle Baumann said the U.S. Central Bank may need to raise rates further in order to fully restore price stability. Additional rate increases will likely be needed to get inflation to the path of 2% target. An elite group of North Korean hackers secretly breached computer networks of a major Russian missile developer for at least 5 months last year, according to technical evidence reviewed by Reuters and analysis by security researchers. Now on to company news and consumer. Copart CPRT announces a 2-for-1 stock split. Lucid LCID cut prices of its Air luxury sedans by as much as $12,400. Hey, let's go shopping. As part of an offer amid rising competition in the US EV industry and a price war sparked by Tesla, TSLA, Reuters reported, reduced the price of the Air Pure by $5,000 to $82,400 from $87,400, and cut prices on the Touring and Grand Touring versions by $12,400 and $95,000 and $125,600. Whoop-de-doo! It looks like a kind of a. I'm not really caught up with the design of the Lucid car, but it does get great mileage for the electrical charge. Manpower, MAN, authorizes repurchases of up to 5 million shares of common stock. Nike and KE mentioned positively in Barron's, noting the stock has fallen 8.2% in 2023, putting it on the bottom quintile of S&P 500 stocks this year. It says the stock might be ready for a big push higher as most of its problems are fading and China begins to recover. Toyota, TM, and partner Tony are planning to mass produce robo-taxis in China, setting up a venture this year which will build cars that employ the startup autonomous driving technology in ride-hailing services. This is Reuters. On to energy. Texas power prices for Sunday surged more than 800% as searing heat pushes demand toward record levels and strains supplies in the state grid. Electricity prices for the grid rose more than $2,500 a megawatt hour on Sunday evening, up from Saturday's high of $275. PG&E, PCG, upgraded to buy from neutral at UBS. Financials, Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway Incorporated, BRK /A, posted gains in operating profit as strengthened its insurance business, helped counter inflationary pressures that have weighed on the sprawling conglomerate in the last year. Posted a net income of $35.9 billion, or $24,775 a class share equivalent, versus a loss of $43.8 billion for $29,754 a class share a year earlier. McCarriage, MAC, fixed security shelf filing in healthcare. BioNTech, BNTX, reported quarter two revenue that fell well short of expectations, while swinging to a net loss that beat forecasts, reported a net loss of euros 190.4 million dollars, or €79 a share. On to the US FDA and Friday approved Biogen, BIIB, and Sage Therapeutics, CAGE, oral pill to create postpartum depression, PPD, in adults. 5 major US health systems said it would offer ISO and Biogen's BIIB, promising new Alzheimer drug, Leqembi, after working out payment and administrative policies. Nektar, NKTR, announced that efficacy data previously generated by Eli Lilly, LLY, for rezpegaldesleukin, or REZPEG, that were presented at the September 2022 EADV Congress were incorrectly calculated by Lilly. The enormous data is from 2 phase 1b studies for REZPEG that were conducted by Lilly. And on to industrials and materials. Joby, GOBY, and Archer, ACHR, mentioned positively in Barron's, saying the companies are about to begin production of electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. For investors, the upside could be in the billions. Astra Space, ASTR, announced a strategic relocation of its workforce from its launch services organization to its Astra spacecraft engines business, and has reduced its overall workforce by approximately 25%. Airlines are preparing to temporarily reduce some flights and routes to inspect aircraft affected by recall of hundreds of Pratt and Whitney jet engines, leaving the unit of aerospace and defense company RTX facing a potential multi-billion-dollar bill. And finally, in technology, media, and telecom, Sohu, SOHU, quarter two adjusted loss per share, 52 cents versus estimate of 56 cents. And there's our news for the day. Let's go and take a look at our S&P map. Apple is down almost 2%. Microsoft's up. NVIDIA is up. We've got a lot of green on the screen today. It looks like we got a bounce from last week's sell-off. Google is up. Amazon is up strong again today. Tesla and Apple are the two big heavy hitters that are down strong today. Tesla fell below its 50-day moving average, a warning sign. And here's Berkshire Hathaway, which we had in the news. Industrials continue to shine. Energy, except for mobile, are up. EOG, the apple of oil, is also down today. So that's a look there. And we'll stop our share our screen. I'm looking for our annuity screen. I don't see it here. It is right here. Let me check why that is not appearing. Here we go. Hopefully you can see that. So an annuity, once it steps up in value, it never comes back down, whereas the indexes are volatile and they do come down, and sometimes they come down large, as we saw in the last 2+ years of bear market, and we're not sure if it's over yet. The average annual growth of an annuity is 12.58%, whereas the indexes are 7.57%. I think everybody should have an annuity. They can rest easier knowing that their money will always grow and will not retract. So that's the story there. We'll stop our share. Now let's go to our charts. This is one of the airlines we were talking about. Gold down in Brazil. It sold off quite a bit here. We can take a look at it on the monthly. At one time, this baby was at $75. And it sold off, tried to recover, and it continues to sell off. Let's see if it can get back up to the 5 to 6 area. But let's take a look at our dollar. Here's our dollar index. Gap down is jumping up a little bit today. We'll continue to watch that because it has a big effect on gold. Gold is pulling back now that the dollar is bouncing up. See if it can get above its 10, 20, and 50-day moving averages again. It's under the $180 level, so it's under some pressure. Silver continues to sell off as well. It is following to its 20-day moving average. Some relatively light volume, which is positive. Look at the other metals, continue to sell off. Interesting, Southern Copper is bouncing up. And we got a sell-off of Freeport McMoran. So we got a diversion there. Let's go take a look at our bond yields. Bouncing up a little bit today, but they're on the bottom of its range. The 20-year bouncing as well. 3.37. As we can see, this 4.09 level is a problem when we come to the high multiple stocks. Anytime it gets above this area, there's a sell-off. Look at the VIX volatility index pulling back. S&P 500 has a little bounce today. The NASDAQ is bouncing as well. IWM is above its 20-day moving average. But in all reality, what have we seen in all this time? Take a look at it. Actually, take a look at it weekly. We don't got much to show for it. And the Dow Jones is looking about the same. Maybe if you caught the bottom, moved up here, but other than that, it doesn't drive too much excitement. Take a look at some of our indexes. With the NASDAQ bouncing up, we had a little movement on the financials, trying to bounce up here, but not much excitement there either. Look at this trading range it's been in. Looks like energy sector is trying to move up. Take a look at oil. It's made a big move. Pulling back slightly today. Technology bouncing ever so light. I hardly see anything there. Software almost identical. Semiconductors got a little bit of a bounce here. Still needs to get above its 10 and 20-day moving average. Healthcare is bouncing today. Materials are bouncing. Our leading sector in housing continues to do well. Lennar, above all its moving averages. DR Horton moving as well. So let's see where money is moving today. In the healthcare area, Tabla Rosa, with its earnings up 127%, 111%, 112% earnings surprise. Look at that huge gap up. It's up 31%. Sovos Brands also up 25%. Food and beverage products, acquiring brands to build one-of-a-kind brands. Take a look on the relative strength line. Look at this pop-up. And this volume is just massive. Vertiv, commercial printing, publishing, design, and packaging, is gapping up 20% on huge volume, one due in one day. Somebody must know something. Applied up to electronics. Big strong day once they announce their earnings. Continues up strong today. This is an interesting issue in Mexico. Looks like it's breaking out. Earnings came up 5%. Sells homeware and house care cleaning products. Fresh Pet up 12.25%. Pet food industry. And finally, EchoStar. Another big mover today, up 23%. Earnings are due later. Maybe somebody knows something. A lot of blue bars here in huge volume. See what's moving down. Sage Therapeutics. Look at that big move down. Down 53%. Look at that negative earning surprise of 4,782%. That's why that stock is selling off. Nobody wants to buy it. Delica Logistics off about 11%. GoGo up off 18%. This is a company that provides your in-flight connectivity on many of other airplanes. Their earnings came in at 294% increase, 372% earnings surprise, but something must have been said on the conference call somebody didn't like. This was in the news. BioNTech off a little over 7%. Floor gapped up on huge volume last week. People are taking their profits. Tyson Foods down about 5.5%. Negative earnings of 92%. And finally, Moderna. They have an abundance of COVID shots that have not been bought. Is down 6.9%. Let's take a look at the oil sector. It seems like money continues to move into the sector. Got a slight pullback on Matador Resources, but you can see this move up from the bottom. Noble Energy, big move up. This is showing, look at this volume. Professional money managers are putting their money to work here. Tidewater, huge volume. Continues to move up. Maybe it'll consolidate over here. Weatherford broke out. Look at all this blue bars. Earnings came in at about 1,000% increase. Schlumberger, or SLB, pretty interesting. These really tight closes. You would think that this is going to move one way or the other. Which way it moves, we'll just have to keep an eye on it. And finally, Valeris, selling off a little bit, but it's still in a pretty tight pattern. So we'll see if it stays in this area or if we get a big volume from professional money managers coming in to buy this. ExxonMobil, not doing too much. Chevron, about the same, not too much happening. Looks like Cord Energy starting to get some bids over here. Hess Corporation. Looks like we got some buying in here. So that's to take a look at, continue to look at oil and industrials. Looks like we got some buying in here in the Caterpillar. United Rentals. Look at this strong buying. A lot of blue bars above here. Earnings came in at 26%. Earnings surprised at 9.68. See who else we have in. Yeah, we got Terex. Continuing to move up. So those are the two areas that seems like professional money managers are moving their money right now. Take a look at the industrial chart. It's really been moving up. This would be the, I believe, the buy point. Had a slight pullback, moved up, and this looks kind of like an ascending base. Guess we'd have to look at this on weekly. There you have it. That's our news for today. See if we got, or we put our handy little, see if we got a couple more here. Yes, got to look at Amazon, which had its earnings out. It looks like growth is coming back to Amazon. Got a big gap up. It sold off with the weakness in the market, closed at the low, but it's moving up strongly today. We see a definite breakout of relative strength line. It has a performance of 91, beating 91% of the other companies in the market. Its earnings came in at 425% increase with an 82% surprise. take a look at one of the losers. Apple was selling off. Their earnings came in at positive 5%, but growth of the iPhone was slowing. This is what was worrying some of the investors. We'll just see where it starts to catch a bid. Volume was heavy, so a lot of people were moving out of this area. So that's a look at two earnings movers. We'll move on for Monday. Hope everybody has a great day. Continue working on your goals and your activities, and feel free to get in touch with us if we can help you with any of your financial goals. Have a great day. This has been Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only.